with the rest of the numb-minded. Hitler was a friend and then came the death toll of millions.
You're listening to MMA Fight Radio with our host, Jay the Big Jayboski Pagliaro, along with co-host Sean Dallas Hall. Produced by Penny Buffington. MMA Fight Radio is sponsored by Nationwide Auto Warranties, covering any make, model, or mileage vehicle. And now, here's our show with Jay and Dallas.
Back by popular demand, it is MMA Fight Radio here at True Story Studios, Studio 1A, Tempe, Arizona. Thank you very much for joining us, and thanks for sticking with us in our little intermission as our host, the man that runs his True Story Studio. Michael got married, went on a honeymoon, had a hell of a time. Now he's get to have an even better time joining us crazy here on MMA Fight Radio. I am your host, the Big Jayboski. Joining me as always, SDH, Sean Dallas Hall. What's going on, my brother?
Yo, brother, what's happening?
What's happening? Hey, you've had a heck of a couple of weeks but we're going to talk about that because
we'll talk about that later.
We don't want to keep our guests waiting.
Let's get to Al.
Let's get right off the bat. Let's not waste any further time because we got the fighting pride of Wantagh High School, Wantagh's most famous son in Nassau Community College's greatest export, number 4 ranked lightweight in the sport. Got a big fight coming up with Donald Cowboy Cerrone on May 4th. He is the man, the myth, the icon, raging Al Iaquinta, and you better not boo him, folks, because what happens if you boo him, Dallas Hall? What does he say? What do we all say?
I don't even want to say it.
I'll let Al say it. Al, what's going on, my brother? Raging Al?
You there, Al?
Maybe he's in the bathroom.
Raging Al, you with us, my brother?
What's up, guys?
Hey, good to talk to you again, as always, my friend. How you been?
I've been good. Training hard. I'm hearing a little echo, though.
A little bit of an echo in the background. All right, we'll get that fixed up here for you real quick. Let us know if you're still hearing it here in a couple of moments because our man's on top of it. But before we get started with all that, Al, we got a lot to talk about with your upcoming fight with Donald Cowboy Cerrone. But it's been a busy couple of weeks for your division, the lightweight division. Now we got another interim champ. It's a guy that you were supposed to scrap with, if I'm not mistaken, Dustin Poirier. But what are your thoughts about the current state of that division, and what did you think of the fight last Saturday night?
It was an entertaining fight for sure. Great fight. Those guys fought hard for 5 full rounds, and I think that Dustin showed he was the superior fighter. He hit harder every time he hit Max. He hurt him, and he might have slowed down a little bit, but it seemed like he definitely came ahead through it all.
Now, that being said, Al, you got to see that. That was obviously a hell of a fight. The division very wide open here. I mean, your fight with Cowboy, how much did that amp you up knowing that, you're probably a win away from being right in that mix yourself and possibly getting that shot?
No, it got me excited. It got me excited for sure. The Cowboy is a tough opponent. Veteran, has been in the sport for a while. He's fought everybody, and I'm really looking forward to this fight and showing everybody what I can do against an opponent like him.
Look, Al, I want to cut through all the bullshit. I know you talk to a lot of people, and you probably say a lot of the same things and get a lot of the same questions. I want to know this because I think you, and I've listened to a lot of your interviews, I think you are one of the more intelligent, business savvy individuals in MMA. All right.
All right.
We switched to ESPN. Now it's ESPN Plus. Now ESPN Plus doing all the pay-per-views. With a guy like you, I mean, I know you've seen a little piece of it. You fought Habib on 4 hours' notice. You fought Habib, so you understand the concept of more money, understand the concept of pay-per-view sales. What do you think as a fighter can you expect now with this new deal with ESPN? Are you expecting any type of bump in pay? I mean, are you expecting the money to be the same? I mean, talk to me about it a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. I'm expecting a bump in pay. We have our contracts now, but the contracts, once we fight out our contracts, there's definitely going to be a huge bump in the pay, and it with the ESPN deal, the UFC is making more money, the fighters making more money. It's good for everybody. It's good for the fans. It's good for the fighters, and good for the UFC. It's great for the sport, I think.
Look, I mean, you come off a fight with Habib, right? I mean, and look, those are undisclosed numbers, but I read, people are talking somewhere around 250. something of the sort. I don't know if that's true or not. But now you have to go back down with your Kevin Lee fight. You were at about 60, right? 60 to show, 70 to show, something like that? 50?
Nah, those numbers aren't the numbers that you see aren't right.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
when you look at a contract,
I saw the numbers that they released for him. My contract is way more top heavy. I'm getting a lot more up front and a little bit of a bonus if I win.
okay. So when you look at that, did you renegotiate a contract at the Khabib fight, or are you almost to the end of a contract? I mean, how many fights do you got left before you can really sit down and negotiate some new money off this ESPN deal?
Yeah, I'm coming towards the end of this one. So I got a few more fights left. I'm coming towards the end of this contract and looking forward to reaping the benefits of my hard work, my dedication, and my skill and what I bring to the table.
Speaking of hard work and dedication, when you look at your record and your past opponents, you got a win over Jorge Masvidal, okay, who is now in the mix at 170. You got 2 wins over Kevin Lee, right, who was in the top 5 at lightweight, now going up to 170. You took Khabib the distance. You're ranked number 4. What else do you have to do, in your opinion, in your mind, to be the number 1 guy in the lightweight division, fight Khabib again, and get those paydays that you've always been talking about?
Yeah, I think I got to go out there and I got to put on a show, put on a flawless, dominant performance against the Cowboy, which is what I'm planning to do. And I think a solid win over him puts me right up there.
Well, let's call it as it is here, Al. You talk about flawless, dominant performances. I mean, Diego Sanchez, another. I mean, a future Hall of Famer in the sport. You dominated him. You knocked him out. I mean, Kevin Lee, you completely shut him out. Kevin Lee, if I'm not mistaken, his last fight before that
Beat him twice.
Was for the interim belt, right? And you beat him twice. I mean,
Yeah.
you're not only are you doing it in the cage, but you're exactly, to me, what the UFC wants, that entertainer, because you can absolutely talk a great game. You're not talk, though. You're not one of these wrestling talk guys. You mean every word you say. So don't you think you're a little bit overdue for this kind of payday anyway?
No, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think, I agree with everything you just said right there. I think that the UFC sees now with me, I think the Diego Sanchez thing, maybe he's on a streak right now. I think people thought that they were kind of counting him out and thinking he was just over the hill, but that's not the case. I think when I fight people, maybe they think the opponent isn't up to par, but it's really me making them look the way they look. I made quick work of Diego. Everyone said Khabib didn't look great against me, and Masvidal had an off night against me, and Kevin Lee didn't look like himself. Kevin Lee was killing people before that. You know what I mean? That fight with Barbosa, he really put it on him. So I think it's more of a testament to what I'm capable of, and people are starting now to give me the credit that I deserve.
Do you see yourself stopping him, and in what round?
Can I see myself stopping the Cowboy?
Do you see yourself stopping him?
Absolutely. I visualize the fight going every single way. I see it. I see me going out there and really just putting it on him. Guys have done it before, and he kind of melts a little bit under the quick pressure. He doesn't enjoy being there, and if he doesn't enjoy being there, I think he kind of he slows down even more, and guys can get him out in the first round. And then if he kind of survives the first little wave, he starts to come back. But I've visualized myself just beating on him for the entire 5 rounds. I've also seen it where I got to come back and I got to dig deep and I got to last 5 rounds and come back in the 5th and get that win. So no matter how it happens, I'm getting my hand raised, and it'll be in a spectacular fashion one way or the other.
Hey, look, man, I want to go back to the Khabib fight a little bit, and like I said, I want everybody to know you took that on about 35 minutes notice. So, but when you were in there, I felt like you did some things right, and it was very difficult because you had no time to prepare. But in your mind, you're getting closer. I mean, one win here, and you may be right there again facing him for the second time. Are there any things that you noticed that you did in that fight that you can build upon to where the next time you face him, it would be a much different fight?
I think absolutely. I think that I was just kind of thrust into that position out of nowhere. I had never really trained for 5 rounds. I was, it was just a totally different new thing. But I think I grew from that. I think when Khabib beats everybody, they're a little bit they're not themselves after that. I think that he beats guys up and it hurts them in the long run. I think I grew from that fight and I improved. I gained confidence in my. 5 rounds now I think benefits me. I'm a 5-round fighter, so I think that's a benefit for me now.
Especially since the fact too. When you fought Khabib, look, Khabib didn't do to you what he did to Edson Barboza, right? Khabib didn't do to you what he did to Conor. To these other guys that are considered the top of the heap at 155, he didn't do any of those things to you.
No, absolutely. I that's what I'm made of. That's what I'm made of, and I think I think you saw it right there. That's just what I'm made of.
Let's cut straight to the chase here, as Dallas Hall would say. Cut the bullshit. In my perspective,
let's cut the bullshit.
Cut the bullshit.
Cut the bullshit.
Forget about it.
As Dallas was saying, your will didn't break. That's been a little over a year and a half since you fought Khabib, as Dallas so greatly put it, on a piss break's notice.
Well, not only did my will not break, but I think the opposite. I had a strong will throughout the entire fight.
And success.
Yeah. Khabib mauls people. I didn't walk away from that fight, Al, and I'm not just saying this because you're one of my favorite fighters. He didn't maul you like he does other fighters. I guess you can't maul a mauler, right?
It's I'm sure it's possible, but it's not probable.
All right, so throwing it out there, you train at the best camp in MMA today, Cerrone MMA. Dallas, definitely great coach, Hall of Fame, former world champion. These things you take away on a daily basis, and that Khabib fight and the growth from there. What are the biggest things you say you can take away from that, and how have you grown training with those guys even since the Khabib fight?
Just the entire experience. The entire experience is just it's in my back pocket now, and I always have that to rely on. That how the whole thing went. I think it didn't go my way, but it is somewhat of a feather in my cap that I went out there, and I think where people were counting me out, I pulled through adversity, and who knows, we could still be fighting now if time didn't run out. We, like you said, my will kept going, and it would have kept going, and we would have seen who would have broke first. Who knows? But he was a strong, skilled fighter, and I think this fight with Cowboy is it's a tough matchup. It's stylistically, I think it's a good one for me. I think that there's a lot of things that I haven't shown that I think I'm going to be able to show in this fight, and it's going to be great.
Al, that said, we got about a minute left. Can you stick around for a couple more?
I got you, man.
All right.
I'm here.
Raging Al Iaquinta, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to come back after this break and talk a little bit more to one of the most articulate spoken, one of the most toughest willed. I'm going to call it as it is. This guy's tougher than a $5 manager special fucking steak. This guy, if you're not an Al Iaquinta fan, folks, believe me, if you've never seen him fight before, watch the Cowboy fight. This guy, if you could measure a testament of a man by their ball size, the fact that he took a fight with Khabib on
That's right,
man. The Big J Boski's had roundabouts with females that lasted longer than the notice Al Iaquinta had in his fight. and believe me, that ought to tell you one thing. And be sure to watch his fight with Cowboy Cerrone. And we got some other business ventures I'm going to talk to Al about when we come back from the break, because he's not your typical meathead MMA fighter, Dallas Hall. He's got a lot going on in his plate there. besides being New York's favorite son. But when we come back, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk more. One of my favorite fighters in MMA today, great now Iaquinta here on MMA Fight Radio.
With expensive auto repairs, get an extended warranty for your used vehicle today. Call 623-935-7988. That's 623-935-7988. Call now.
He's preparing to turn the cowboy into a dime store freaking outlaw. Raging Now, welcome back. Thanks for staying with us, man.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. We're having some fun. This is good.
Hey,
I'm enjoying this.
It's always a good time with Raging Now. Believe me, I know that from firsthand experience. So before we go any further, though, I know we wanted to talk about some of your business ventures. I know, as I said going into the break, you're not your typical 9-to-5 meathead fighter that knows just fighting and nothing else. I mean, you got some pretty good prime real estate stuff going on. I know Carlos Ortiz wanted to ask you about. So, Carlos, go ahead.
How often are you working real estate now that you're in camp?
I mean, I'm not really taking on too much new stuff, but all the deals that I have, I'm making sure I stay on top of everything and do the best for the people that I have to, my clients that they hired me to do a job for them, and I make sure that I do the job to the best of my ability and get them exactly what they want, because a house is the biggest sale or purchase of someone's lifetime most of the time. Sure. And I it's kind of like my reputation on the line. If I don't do the best job possible for them, I'd be doing everyone a disservice.
That's the truth.
For those of you that don't know, and those of you that missed my one-on-one with Al Iaquinta here at UFC Phoenix, we're going to explain real quick what Al's talking about. He's not just a successful realtor. This guy's becoming the Howard fucking Hughes of real estate. Because I mean, let me tell you, if you could sell a house, you're a much better man than I. But if you could sell a house in New York, you take a special kind of effort. And believe me when I tell you, he's more than just a guy that can knock your block off. He can pitch a house as well as anybody. He had me wanting to buy a house in Long Island, Dallas, and by the end of that conversation.
I want a house in Long Island. I just don't know if I can afford it.
But Al,
the taxes out here are crazy.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that business, man. How long you been doing the real estate gig, and how is it supplemented your MMA career? I mean, how has your MMA career supplemented that, I should say?
Well, I've definitely learned a ton about negotiating.
Yes.
So that's one thing. I mean, fighters, I don't think that fighters, they just pretty much have a manager, and their manager negotiates for them, and I think I have a manager, but I also have myself, and we develop strategies on how to get what we want, and usually I've been more successful from what I've heard other people getting. So I think that I'm onto something on that end. And real estate is competition. There's a million agents across the country, especially, on Long Island. There's countless number of agents, just like there are mixed martial arts fighters. And to be the person that everyone chooses, the person that everyone wants to watch fight, the person everyone chooses to sell their house with, you got to have the X factor. You got to stand up above. First, you got to know the game. You got to know the market. You've got to know, how to. You got to know your craft. And then you also have to have the X factor that makes people want to work with you. And I think I possess that in both real estate and in mixed martial arts. It's it's flexible schedule, so it works. It coincides with my fighting training, and on my off time after the fight, I pick up with the real estate, and then when I get a fight coming down, I kind of ease off it a little bit. So it's perfect for me. I really, really enjoy it.
Have any MMA fans bought a house from you? They specifically wanted to went to you because they knew who you are from fighting.
Yeah, I've sold houses where someone will reach out to me, and I have to really sift through the emails and calls, texts that I get, because a lot of people just kind of want to talk fighting. But
They just want to
yeah,
hang out.
yeah, I get calls and people will start off kind of, and then quickly they switch over to the MMA talk. But I have had a number of people that wanted to sell a house. They had to sell their house for whatever reason, and they choose. They say, "Why not go with this?" You know, they don't know a realtor. They don't know anybody. So why not go with the UFC kid who's ranked in the top in the world at one thing? Because if I'm working hard at one thing, I'm probably working hard at everything. You know, you want something done right. You ask a busy person, because the busy people are the ones getting things done, and that's me. I'm always working. I'm working hard, and I'm doing the right things.
Look, Al, I think you're in a unique position to be able to speak to a lot of, let's say, I mean, a lot of younger regional fighters watch our show. You know, you're in a unique position to speak on this, and that's why I wanted to harp on this a little bit. When you talk about you negotiating contracts, when you're talking about when you go in there, when your contract's over, and you're looking for the kind of money that you're looking for, what are some of the things that you use? I mean, you don't have to give all your techniques away so it kills you in negotiations when this comes up, but what are some of the things that you use to determine your value as a mixed martial artist?
It's very similar to it's similar to houses in a lot of way, that you see what the market is for a house. You know, you see the comparable house sales. So if I'm selling a house and the house next to it is the same exact house and the same exact lot size, the same exact, I know my house is probably going to sell for the same amount as that house sold. So if there's a fighter that's in a similar position to me and they're getting paid X amount, I should be getting paid pretty close to what that fighter is making. And if I am performing twice as good, you know, and I'm twice as marketable, then I should be getting paid twice as much. So you got to see what the market is as far as fighters, and then you stick to your guns, even if it's maybe if your contract is X amount for your next fight, and the comparables say that you should be getting twice as much, you don't fight for it, even if it is the contract. You hold out and you negotiate it to where there's a way to negotiate to where everyone's happy, and that's what I've been doing.
Well, I'm telling you, the way you handled yourself when you said, you know what, forget this, I'm not going to fight for the pennies they're paying me. I'm going to go do my own thing. You started your own successful business. You held out. You did all the right things. These are the kind of lessons that I think. And look, I used to manage fighters. I spent my beginning of my career in MMA managing fighters, and these are the kind of things that I tried to tell them. Is you have to understand that your value is your value. If you take less, that's your value from here on out, right?
Yeah,
I mean, if you take $10,000 instead of 20, your value is 10. It's not 20.
And not only does your value mess up your value, but it messes up everyone else's value.
Yeah.
Because if the house next to me, if they just took what they got, you know, they took what someone was going to give them, and they didn't take their value for it, then it means my house isn't worth as much, because the house next to me is the same exact house, and they're not getting paid as much. You know, so it's very important to find out your value, find your worth, and then you know, hold out for what you deserve.
How much do you work with other fighters in that situation, right? Like, hey, I'm going to go in, this is how much I think I'm worth. Do you do that research on the internet? Do you do that research through your manager? Do you do that research through actually contacting all the other fighters that are maybe in your weight class or in the same position that you're at, to see what they're making?
A little bit of all of the above. You know, I talk to my manager. He knows what people are getting in other organizations. He knows what people are getting in the UFC. He knows where everything stands. I do my own homework. I have a lot of friends and guys that I've trained with over the years that I've become friendly with that that I can reach out to, and we all we have a good it's a good thing.
So piggybacking off what was just asked of you too, what really stands out to me about you is the fact that you started your own, you took a business outside of MMA, because let's be honest, and you've seen it out firsthand, this is a very, dare I say, fickle sport where the money's not going to continue, the well's going to run dry. Here you are, a guy who from day one has been, in a, dare I say, feature role by the UFC, whether it was on The Ultimate Fighter, top 10 guy, fought Khabib, yet you're on the side doing the hustle, doing your own business. To me, what kind of example do you think that sets to these up-and-coming fighters and showing them, look, this sport is a very ugly mistress at times. The money could be there 1 minute and gone the next.
Yeah, no, it's exactly that. I think hopefully that I've opened up a lot of eyes and people look up to it. And, I always have, it's another negotiating tactic is that I think the biggest negotiating tactic is being willing to walk away if you don't get what you want. And they think that they know that I'm really willing to walk away if I'm unhappy. So they see the value in me and they don't want to lose it. So they're willing to work with me.
I'll tell you what, man, I appreciate the conversation. I appreciate the candid talk. I wish we could keep you on for 2 hours, but we know you got shit to do, man. Best of luck with you
hey,
when
next
you're
time,
fighting Cowboy.
Next time you're in Phoenix, come in the studio with us, man. We'll have a good time.
We'll have some
Absolutely. I'm 100% looking forward to it.
Yeah, we appreciate it, buddy.
Hey, real quick,
Awesome.
before we let you go, man, give us a shout-out to your business URL, man. Where can our Fight Crazy fans from around the globe buy a house from Raging Al Iaquinta at?
If you are looking to buy, sell, or rent anywhere in the United States, you can reach out to me at Al Iaquinta on Twitter, at Al Iaquinta on Instagram, or shoot me an email at ragingalrealty@yahoo.com. Serious inquiries only.
Mind you, he knocked out Diego Sanchez faster than BJ Penn in his prime did, folks, so don't fuck with him. Don't fuck with him, because that's what he's capable of doing.
I appreciate it, guys. I appreciate
Fantastic
it. Thank
work,
you so
brother.
much for the time and having me on. I really, it means a lot.
Much appreciated, brother.
We look forward to watching you fight Cowboy. We look forward to you continually being main event status, man. Best
Awesome.
of luck to you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Much love to you, brother. Thanks, Raging Al.
Have a good one.
You too. Raging Al Iaquinta, folks, May 4th, Canadian Tire Center, Ottawa, Ontario, Canada.
That's a fight, right?
That's a fucking
That's
fight.
a fight, bro. Raging Al's got some of the best hands in the business.
His hands are good. His wrestling good is top notch. His jiu-jitsu is grossly underrated. He's a he's a complete package, man. Anybody that could go 5 with Khabib on a piss breaks notice is a man's man in my book. So I believe me, he's just due. Ladies and gentlemen, when we come back, we've got more MMA Fight Radio here at True Story Studios, Tempe, Arizona. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back after the break.
Don't get stuck with expensive auto repairs. Get an extended warranty for your used vehicle today. Call 623-935-7988. That's 623-935-7988.
Call now.
Skills.
So I got a question coming back from the break here on
You're
MMA
not even
Fight
going to
Radio.
do any introductions back. You're just
Ooh.
bringing it right straight to the question.
No
I like it.
bullshit. Like Al said,
That's
no
what I'm
fucking
saying.
games. No bullshit.
He's got no
that
time for
was-
your shit.
that was
He's got a
me.
question, damn it.
I've got
That
a
was
question.
me who said cut the bullshit.
Dallas
by the
said
way.
cut the bullshit. I'm
Here we
saying
go.
cut the fucking
Let's get
music.
to it.
Cut the fucking music. Let's get straight to the
Let's
chase
get
here,
to
Dallas.
it.
What do you really think of Jason Bateman?
God, don't even bring Jason Bateman up. Why are you trying to get me to say some shit on camera that's going to incriminate me forever?
Because you're my favorite co-host.
Yeah, Jason Bateman. I don't even
He's
know who
actually
that
a
guy
fight fan.
is. I don't even know who he is. Fuck Jason Bateman.
There you go. Welcome back to MMA Fight Radio here on
watch
True
those
Story
on.
Studios.
That's what you get.
Fuck Jason Bateman.
That's what you get, bud.
Michael J. Fox.
I love Michael J. Fox.
Justine Bateman.
I don't even know who that is.
She was in Family Ties. She was a sister to everybody wanted to fuck.
Ooh, I like her, too.
I like her. How about
Oh,
Kelly
yeah.
Bundy?
Oh, Kelly
yeah.
Bundy was my
I had a
shit.
crush on her for a
Kelly
while.
Bundy.
That
Okay.
was my jam.
All right. Let's throw it out there.
Strawberry jam on toast right there, bro.
All right, Michael, I want you to get on the microphone for this. Now, Michael, a happily married man, so I'm going to probably get him in the doghouse for asking.
Nah.
All right, fuck.
Doubtful. My wife does not listen.
Okay.
Why would she, right?
She doesn't even listen to my fucking
Nobody
show.
else does either.
Nobody else.
Nobody else does either, Mike.
All right,
Just
Yeah, but
kidding.
you have some
Just
ravenous fans.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
piled
all
up
five
right
of them.
outside, waiting like paparazzi for the
How you
attack.
doing, Mom?
He's
How you
outside.
doing, Mom?
They are sitting out there in the waiting room, yeah.
All right, FMK,
Okay.
Kelly Bundy,
Okay.
Kelly Kapowski,
Okay.
or Shannon Doherty.
All right, I'm
Bundy.
killing Shannon Doherty
Yeah.
for
Bundy.
sure.
I'd
Not
fuck
even a
Shannon
crooked
Doherty
eyes.
to death.
Not even
No.
a question.
Look at
She's
her weird
dead.
crooked eyes, like when I was like,
Shannon Doherty's dead. All right.
Christina
Cap-
Applegate, all day.
yeah.
Kelly Kapowski, I'm banging her.
Really?
For sure. Marrying Christina Applegate.
All right, Carlos.
That's
Why?
fair. That's
Because
fair.
Christina Applegate, even at, what is she, 45, 50?
Yeah.
Oh my God, she's over
She looks
50.
nice.
She's over
and
50.
she's funny. And she's super funny.
Yeah.
When's the last time
She's
you
cute.
seen Kelly Kapowski do anything worthwhile?
She has a cooking
Right?
show where she
Only
talks
thing
about
she
humming.
could ever do was look good in a cheerleader outfit.
But she looked
for
damn
Zach
good in a
Morris.
cheerleader outfit.
Zach
Damn good.
Morris.
Oh, I'm glad you guys are talking Zach Morris.
I
So-
got Zach Morris stories if you want.
Fuck Zach Morris.
I do too.
Do you really?
So have you seen that show on Amazon? Zach Morris Must Die.
Yes,
Oh,
yes, it's on
You
Facebook
have-
too.
I love
you
it.
have to watch
Fantastic.
it. Oh
Yeah,
my God, it's so
absolutely.
fucking
Yeah.
funny.
It's
Like we sit in our
fantastic.
fucking chair at home and just
Yeah.
laugh our asses
Fantastic.
All
off.
right, all right.
like
So,
that.
so that being said, fuck, marry, kill. Who do you got, Michael? Who do you got?
Shannon Doherty dies. Nobody likes her.
Your
Of
name's
course.
not Michael. Fuck it.
Oh yeah, of course. Well, I
Yeah.
don't know though.
That's
She was
not
pretty
it was
hot
a
and
bad
charmed.
pick at the end.
She was pretty hot.
All right, then throw a third one in there.
I
I'd have
don't know.
fucked Shannon Doherty. Come on, I mean, what would
what's
fuck?
what's
Too much
what-
like my ex-wife.
what's
really.
fucking Wonder Woman's name?
Pass.
What's Wonder Woman's
Which
name?
one? She's
Which
dead.
one?
She's dead.
The first one.
No, she's still alive.
She's still alive. Yeah. What the hell's her
What's
name?
her
I just
name?
said it earlier. Didn't
Yeah, I
I?
know.
Linda Carter.
Linda Carter.
Put her in the third.
All right, all right,
Now
all
that
right,
changes
all right.
things,
Change
don't
it. All right, change it up then. Fuck, marry, kill. Put Linda Carter in the third spot instead of Shannon Doherty.
That's for me. I don't know, man. Linda Carter. She might have taught me some things. I'm a little younger. I'm a little younger, so I'm definitely banging her. I'm
Listen,
probably
yeah.
killing Kelly Kapowski, and I'm sticking with Marion.
All right, go ahead.
Marion,
Go ahead, Michael.
I don't know. I think I'd have to marry Linda Carter.
All right.
There you
Make
go.
her wear that fucking outfit every day.
Hey, she's got the original too. She brings that
Right.
home from the lot.
All right, so who you marry?
Well, I mean, when it was okay for a woman to have curves and tits, and that was
It's
acceptable.
not a bad
Ooh.
thing.
What about
It's
original
not
Daisy
acceptable
Duke?
anymore.
What about the original Daisy Duke?
Oh.
Put that on TV.
Hey, let me
today.
tell you, Jessica Simpson made a hell of a Daisy Duke.
She did.
She made a
She did
hell of
well.
a Daisy Duke.
She's the worst actress ever, but
She
she
sucked.
looked great in them shorts.
Well, it worked for that role, right?
Hey,
She worked great in them. Looked great in them.
Well,
all
not
you gotta
just
do
the
is hit
shorts,
mute.
just that role. Like you're supposed to be a dumbass.
All right, so
Yeah.
you're marrying Linda Carter. Who you killing? Which of the Kellys are you killing, Bundy or Kapowski?
Kapowski.
Kapowski. All right, Carlos, go ahead. What do you got? Who's your FMK?
Yeah, I guess I would kill Kapowski, marry the one from
This
Bundy's,
show really went off the rails, bro.
This show's been off the rail from day one. What are you talking about?
then hook up
For
with
sure.
Carter.
All right, my last one. I'm gonna marry Kapowski, man. That's the type of chick I want around my kids.
Why? Do you even know what she does now?
She's a cooking show. She's a mother and she cooks on
Okay.
Food
Well,
Network.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
She does.
yeah, she's
I
on the
watch
Food Network.
all
She's
day.
on the Food Network.
Yeah,
I'll,
Bert Nellis.
I'll
I ain't
send you
never seen
the,
her.
I'll send you the link
I
on
ain't never
Facebook.
seen her. I ain't seen her.
I
I ain't seen her since Zach broke up with her in Hawaii.
Right?
they got
But I
married
got
at the
Zach.
end.
I told you I had
Probably
Zach
fucking
Morris
drowned
stories.
her that bitch.
So look,
Like, shit.
I used to live in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Right,
Yeah.
a buddy of mine used to be one of the brewmasters at Founders Brewery. Zach Morris himself lives
Fuck
in
the
Grand
brewmaster?
Rapids. No, he lives in Grand. Come on, bro. Look, let me finish the story here. He lived in Grand Rapids, and his favorite hangout was Founders. All right, so I used to go up there all the time. Right, my buddy's band used to play up there. I used to go up there all the time, and everybody was always like, "Man, don't ask him, dude. Just don't ask him. Don't ask him," because I wanted to ask him some Say by the Bell questions. There ain't no question about it. That's my thing, right? I love Saved by the Bell. So finally one day, my buddy's band is playing. I'm hammered drunk. I'm talking hammered drunk, right? I can't. I'm wheeling the wrong direction. I'm going right when Zach Morris is left. My buddy grabs me, wheels me over there, and I'm like, dude, Zach. And he's like, oh, you're one of those fucking guys? And I'm like, Zach, hey, bro, did you ever end up fucking Kelly?
Well, if you believe Dustin Diamond's book, he fucked them all. I mean, he screeched. He made Screech. He fucked Lisa.
So then my next, he was like, "Oh, come on, bro," and I was like, "Look, but seriously, tell me though, did you fuck Lisa Turtle?" And he was like, "Bro, you gotta stop calling them by those names. They haven't been those names in 25 years. Stop." And I'm like, "No, Lisa Turtle was the hottest one out of all of them. I swear to God, bro, you should have fucked Lisa Turtle. Lisa Turtle was it. Fuck Screech, right? Screech sucked anyways. He was a fucking rat." Zach Morris gets up and leaves, never to be seen again.
Nice.
Have you seen Lisa Turtle?
That's my Zach Morris
actually
story.
has a cop show. And,
No, I like his new show.
I do. See, I was gonna
One on
watch
Fox?
it.
Yeah,
I was
that's
gonna
my
watch
Zach
it, and I don't care.
Have you seen? By the way, now we're talking Saved by the Bell. Have you seen Lark Voorhees lately?
No, I haven't.
Jesus Christ, did she rot? No, hell no. I'll show you after the break.
That's too bad.
I'll show you. She let herself go.
That's too bad.
She looks like. You remember the movie Mask from the 1980s?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
I do.
Yep.
of
She
course.
looks like
Sure.
Mask now. She looks like Rocky Dennis now. It's brutal, bro. It's
The new
brutal.
Zach show.
That's
He's
pretty
like
brutal.
going against
Yeah.
vampires.
I'll show you in the break. But speaking of breaks, man, Dallas himself got a nice little break over the last couple of weeks.
Wow.
UMMAF, run by our good friend Ryan Brueggemann, has promoted Mr. Sean Dallas Hall to a pretty significant role. Congratulations are well in order. Like I said to you on Facebook, man, they could not have picked a better individual for the job. Congrats. But let's talk a little bit about it, because I know we got a lot of fights to talk about, including the two greatest fights of 2019.
Yeah, man, I
so far.
appreciate that.
But I want to talk about your success.
First of all, much thanks and big shout out to Ryan Brueggemann. Also to Frank Babcock. I mean, the president, Ryan, the vice president. I got hired to run a governance committee, and so as a governance committee, we are overseeing all the things that UMAF does, which is United Mixed Martial Arts Federation. It's all, for amateurs in the United States. We govern them. We give them rule sets, and we're trying to get every state on the same page, so that way eventually we can try to get MMA into the Olympics, amateur MMA into the Olympics. So I have a lot of other things that I'm doing through that, but to make a long story short, really what I'm trying to do is build a committee that oversees and makes sure that the rules that are passed and the things that the board of directors does is kosher with Olympic rulings and things of the sort.
Yeah, I was going to ask. So it's equivalent of USA Wrestling, USA Boxing.
Same thing. That's where we got it from, right? That's
Yep.
where Ryan and Frank got it from. They want to meet those requirements, and in order to be in the Olympics, you have to meet those requirements, and that's one of them. You have to have a governance community, governance.
Same thing.
Governance committee, and and so I got chose, man, and I'm telling you, it's the honor of my lifetime. I've spent a lot of years in this MMA business, doing a lot of things, and to be put in that position, or even to be like honored to even be thought of to be put in that position, means that what I've been doing throughout these last 10 years of my life has been worth it, has been real, has been right, and I've stayed on the right path, and I've done the right things, and I really appreciate it, man.
Is there an international body now for it?
There
Or
is
no?
IMAF.
Okay.
It's called it's IMAF, UMAF, and IMAF. IMAF runs all the rest of the world. And so they govern all the rest of the world. A good friend of mine, referee Mark Goddard. He's part of IMAF. A lot of people are, and we're trying to get, like, their job as IMAF is to get the rest of the world on the same rule set as we're trying to do in the United States, right?
How many countries right now have their own governance, just like USA?
Not as many as you think. I mean, I don't know. I don't know the exact number, so I don't want to throw a number out there.
Yeah.
But there's numerous countries that don't. that don't have things like us, like athletic commissions and things of the sort. But there's also other countries that do it better than us.
Yeah.
As far as amateur MMA goes, amateur MMA in the United States is kind of as hit and miss, right? You go to one amateur show and you see certain rules. You go to another amateur show, you see other rules, right? And we need to get everybody on the same rule set. And then we have tournaments too. So, like national championship tournaments, world championship tournaments, like people, you can become Jose Shorty Torres, perfect example, right? He went through UMAF, he won all the UMAF tournaments, then he went all the way to Bahrain and won the IMAF tournaments, and then he became the world champion, amateur mixed martial arts fighter in the world. And as soon as he got off of that, $100,000 contract for Titan FC.
What countries are doing a good job? Like Canada, Russia, just for example.
England's doing good. Man, this would be such a better question for Ryan and Frank. I just jumped on board, so for me, there's a lot of catching up to do.
Yep.
There's places out there though. A lot of those places in Middle England, or around there, Middle Europe. Even in the Arabias, they're doing a good job over there too, because they really enjoy it. They really enjoy the jiu-jitsu and also MMA.
That's awesome.
Let's call it as it is. There's a lot of bullshit that goes on in amateur MMA.
For sure.
You know that, and I know. And I'm not even just talking other there's some bullshit MMA that goes on right here in our own state of Arizona.
For sure.
So, in your opinion, Dallas, in a nutshell, with as much liberty as you're allowed to speak, what needs done to clean up some of the excess bullshit that goes on, where we see, let's call it as it is, we'll see mismatches, we'll see one-sided beatdowns that are insulting to the fans' intelligence, we'll see all sorts of crazy shit that goes on in amateur MMA. In your humble opinion, what needs to be done to fix that up?
And look, I'm new to this, but from what I've gathered and from what I see, I think that state, regulatory agencies, or state commissions need to work with UMAF as opposed to working opposed to UMAF, right? We're not trying to steal your business, right? We're not trying to steal your money from promoters. What we're trying to do is to make sure that all amateur sports, all amateur MMA is regulated on the same rule set. And so what they can do is they can work with us. We don't charge. They don't. UMAF itself doesn't charge huge fees. They don't do that. I mean, that's not what we're in the business for. We're a 501c3. We're nonprofit. So what we do is we're doing it for the love of the sport. We're not doing it for any other reason. That's it. I mean, period.
I was about to say that's how they do with USA Wrestling and USA Boxing. Like there's a New Jersey, whatever, Arizona Wrestling. So it all works out.
So then what we need to do is we need to have these state athletic commissions be consulting with us. If they don't want to work with us, that's fine. At least consult with us and see what they can do to be on the same rule set for these guys, right? Because if a guy is an amateur and is in an amateur fight and has ever thrown an elbow to the head, he's forever banned. He can never fight in the Olympics.
I like that.
Oh, wow.
I like that.
So you know what I'm saying? So there's different things. If you throw a knee to the head, right? You can't ever fight in amateur Olympics.
Remember back
you can't
here,
fight in the Olympics.
Amateur back here used to be only open palms to the
Right.
face of the rules.
But, and we don't do that.
Yeah.
No. I mean, we're with the sport. We love the sport. We know how the sport goes, and there's many things that we really enjoy about the sport, and we enjoy the violence of elbows and knees too. But we don't think these guys are ready to sustain that damage at this point,
especially
right?
for free.
Yeah, especially for free, especially for things that they even might have to pay for, right? I mean, so that's what we're trying to do, and I'm telling you, it's a huge honor for me, and I thank you for bringing it up, and thank you for honoring me with that, and thank you Ryan Brueggemann, thank you Frank Babcock, thank everybody. It's a huge thing for me, and I'm going to take it very seriously.
Well, let me just close out by saying this, because I know we got to go to a break, and this is the first time in 3+ years I've kissed your ass on the air, so consider it mark it down. Mark it down. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't have many friends in MMA. You and Ryan Brueggemann are it, and I'm going to tell you this not just as as my co-host, as my friend. From the good of the sport, man. If there are two people that are right for the position to clean up the mess that goes on in this sport, especially in the amateur ranks, I have no doubt in my mind that it's you and Ryan Brueggemann. I know the sport is in a better place because of you guys. So, and I mean that sincerely.
I appreciate that.
And, that's not kissing your ass again because you're my friend. That's not patronizing. That is the God-honest truth.
I appreciate that. You've seen me. You've worked with me for a long time, and so coming from you, it means a lot. I appreciate that, Jay.
Oh. We're going to end this bromance now by going to our next break. When we come back, we're going to talk about some fights in the
Jason
UFC.
Bateman.
Fuck Jason Bateman.
He's great in Ozark.
When we come back, we're going to talk.
That's Jason Bateman?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. My bad.
So you like that?
I take all of that back.
By the way, folks, you can send Dallas Hall or Sean Dallas Hall or Jay Pagliaro a private message, or you can put it on MMA Fight Radio or True Story Studios on our Facebook pages. Feel free to check us out. And Give us a list of FMKs. We'll answer them on air. I mean, any FMKs you want. No stupid shit like Caitlyn Jenner and stuff like that. Though
Conor McGregor, Caitlyn Jenner.
No bullshit. But any FMKs.
Kill.
Yeah, I'll kill myself. Anyway, when we come back, we got more MMA Fight Radio.
With expensive auto repairs, get an extended warranty for your used vehicle today. Call 623-935-7988. That's 623-935-7988.
Call now.
We're back here on MMA Fight Radio, True Story Studios, Tempe, AZ. I am the Big J Boski, J Pagliaro, Sean Dallas Hall, licensed judge and head honcho now at UMMAF. Or what is your official position there, man?
I'm the head of the governance committee.
He's the head at UMMAF. Head.
No, I'm not. Not the president or the
Get
vice
it?
president.
I was
No,
being
I'm-
perverted, bro.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Sorry, I didn't know Jay Boski was coming out this early.
All right. And Carlos Ortiz in studio. And joining us at this time is somebody, when it comes to I talk about, the Big J Boski talks about his favorite fighters. His favorite female fighter of all time is our next guest. I don't give a fuck what she says. She says she's from New Jersey. Look, when you live in Central or South Jersey, you're from Philadelphia. I don't give a fuck what she says. But she's one of my favorite fighters. She's the OG of women's MMA. Tara Larosa joins us on her show. Tara, argue with me, man. You're not from Philly, right? You're not from Philly. You're from Jersey.
No, I'm from South Jersey.
You can cuss on here.
I'm from the Philadelphia area.
All right.
So there you go.
All right. So we're close enough. We're not those New York motherfuckers that we don't claim New York. We claim
No.
Philadelphia. All right, there.
Yeah,
we go.
from South
Just
Jersey.
so you know,
Yeah.
when you see this later, this schmo is still wearing a Pittsburgh Penguins jersey, and they just got smoked.
Shit happens.
Yeah, dude, I like Pittsburgh too. So.
See, that's why she's
But
my
only
favorite.
I like Pittsburgh out of spite, just because everybody's like Eagles.
Fuck the
Yeah,
Eagles.
Whatever, fuck the Eagles.
So you're coming out here and going to the Steelers game with me in December, right?
Right, sounds good.
All right, I got you.
Yeah.
All right, Tara, I want to talk to you a little bit about your career. Now, those of you that have never seen Tara LaRosa fight, what the fuck you wait? Listen, before the Ronda Rouseys of the world, the Misha Tates, and these hometown heroes that everybody knows, this woman was fighting everywhere and anywhere and kicking ass and taking names. Actually grew on stage, grew in the household of MMA fans. Is named by submitting Amanda Buckner for the old Bodog promotion. I remember it well. And you've had quite the journey, Tara. So let's start at the beginning. Obviously, the Jersey roots. What got you started in MMA, and what's women's MMA without Tara LaRosa?
Oh God, most people don't even know me now because I've been off for like 4 years. I haven't fought in 4 years, but I guess like somebody said that I was Ronda Rousey before Ronda was Ronda. Like, it's kind of funny though because I came from judo originally because I played team sports my whole life growing up. I went to college on a field hockey scholarship, but I got involved in the judo club at my college, and I really loved it, and I started competing, like, nationally, like, all over. And then judo just kind of moved into jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai, and I got up with an MMA gym, which was NHB back then, shoot fighting, and that's how I got into MMA. But, yeah, I came from judo, and eventually I rose up to be #1 in the world, and go figure, another judo chick rose up to be #1 in the world. So, me and Ronda share a little bit of commonality there.
It's a good skill set to have. I mean, in MMA,
we're tough. Judo people are tough as nails.
You
man.
also,
Like-
the game from the feet. You know the game from the ground. You understand the concept of body mechanics. You understand the concept of weight manipulation. I mean, it's a good thing. It's a great base to have.
It is. It's I'd say the only thing better would be wrestling to come from.
Sure.
As a background. But judo,
for females,
you have to grind. You grit, you grind, and that's the grinders, they work out real well in MMA.
You probably know this as much as anybody. I mean, for females, I mean, I'm a little bit older too, so I mean, I'm near 40. So when I was young, females didn't wrestle. You know what I mean? So it wasn't something that they did like they do now. Nowadays you see women or females wrestling on junior high, middle school, high school, all the way up. For you had to find another martial art discipline to be able to get involved in, and judo was a great one, and it served you, and it also served Ronda very well.
Yep, definitely. I was never, I never was as accomplished, never moved up as high as she did, but because I got into MMA before I could go past the national level. But she went, all the way to the Olympics and like World Games and Pan Ams and stuff like that. So I just made it to like nationals, collegiate nationals, just regular U.S. nationals, different national level tournaments and stuff like that, regionals and such. But she went on past that. But yep. Judo for the win.
so let me ask you this, Tara, and I mean, you've seen what women's MMA has become. You've seen that it's become almost. Let's be honest. You look at women like Chris Cyborg. You look at women like Amanda Nunes. Ronda, Holly Holm. Do you ever ask yourself, man, that should have been me? Because let's be honest, you were Ronda Rousey before Ronda Rousey, but I'm going to call it as it is, and it's not just because you're one of my favorite female fighters. You were better than Ronda. To me, you had the will and tenacity that Ronda Rousey wishes she had. You talk shit as good as anybody. I mean, I see it. Not only do I see you handling them Antifa jackasses on Twitter, but I remember I'm going back all the way to 2004 when you ripped a young Misha Tate a new ass on the Underground Forum. Okay, you were the selling point. You were the woman seller before Ronda was a twinkle in anybody's eye. Do you ever ask yourself, man, if I only had gotten into this sport a decade later?
Nah, I at the time that I was in, I raised the bar. During the height of my career, I raised the bar and set the level that everybody else had to rise to and surpass. And eventually they did. And that's what, I'm happy with my place in history. I'm fine with it. I helped build the sport because I was number one in the world. I was considered number one in the country and in the world for 6 years. I mean, that's a pretty good run, right? I'm down with that.
Excellent run. Oh, yeah.
At 125 and 135. So,
Fantastic.
I'm happy with it. I'm completely comfortable with my place in history.
That's good.
Whether it's recognized or not, I don't give a shit. But still, at that time, I was the chick to beat. So you had to either rise up to the level or surpass that. And eventually, people did. And that only made the sport get better, So I think that's awesome. I'm great. Like, the level the sport has gotten to now, everybody's cross-training, everybody is,
technique is
the
nice,
strength and
right?
conditioning is just off the charts, and it's scientific, and it's just amazing. I love it. This is what I dreamed
Technique has changed
of.
a ton, right?
Oh, sure.
The techniques of fights.
This is what I dreamed of. I dreamed of people talking about women's MMA the same way they talked about men's. Like, dude, her stand-up is just sick. Oh, I think her stand-up's going to negate this person's ground. And, dude, her wrestling is just... that's how I wanted everybody to talk about women's MMA. That was my goal. So I saw it. I got to realize that. And it's so awesome. I love it. When I hear people talking, like, strategy and technicality of, like, the different fighters and women in the sport. Like, that does it for me. Like, that's super cool.
Well, let the Big J Boski tell you a little something here. People will sit there and talk about Ronda versus, or they'll talk about Cyborg versus, Amanda. I remember that fight with you and Amanda Buckner like it was yesterday, and people don't remember the name Amanda Buckner too well, and they should, because I remember there was some legit talks at the time that she was the Queen Bee. That fight was, to me...
Dude, she was so technical.
She was technical. She was
so
quick.
good.
She was, Marcus Davis, a good buddy of mine, said she's one of the best people he's ever trained with. And when you beat her at the time, it was a bit of a... It wasn't a shocking upset, but it was like Nunes over Cyborg. People didn't see it happening.
It was shocking to me, I didn't think I was going to win. I looked up to her. Like, I always thought that she was better than me. I thought she was more technical. I thought she was more dynamic. And when it happened, it went back and forth. Like, first, the second, and third rounds, they went back and forth. Like, getting that rear naked choke in the end of the third round was like, what the fuck? There's no way this is going to work. Holy shit, I'm just going to tighten it down. I locked it down, and she tapped. I couldn't believe it. It was insane.
I also want to talk to you about, your journey, and every fighter has a journey, not just that Amanda Buckner fight, which, again, anybody that hasn't seen it, I don't know if it's on YouTube or social media anywhere, but you need to check that fight out, because to me that was a fight that really started the movement of women's MMA. And I know Gina Carano later came around a few years later and elevated it, but to me, Buckner Larosa was the one that put it on the map. But you've had a hell of a journey in your life. You've suffered loss. You were stranded in the Laurel Highlands of central Pennsylvania, which that's my I made quite a few formative years there. You walked out of the Laurel Highlands in one piece. You've suffered death of loved ones. You truly are, and I mean this in the nicest possible way, one of the toughest bitches I've ever seen in my life. And I have nothing but respect for you, not to mention the shit you deal with the Antifa jackasses on social media.
Yeah. I've had the shit beat out of me by coaches. I've been through some shit, yeah. I didn't walk out of the Laurel Highlands on my own. They carried me out because I was almost dead, so.
Well, the Big J Boski's had some experiences in the Laurel Highland. The fact that you were able to be carried out, it speaks to your will and your toughness. Trust me. The Laurel Highlands, I've dated women from the Laurel Highlands, and it wasn't, no.
So, yeah.
So what are you doing with yourself now? Your MMA career, I know last we seen you, if I'm not mistaken, it was on The Ultimate Fighter season, I believe it was, number 18?
Yeah, 18.
What have you done with yourself since then?
I had a few fights after that. My last fight was when the fuck was that? I don't know. It was like May 15th or May 20th, 2015 or something. So I've been off for 4 years. I'm not officially retired.
So you want to take another fight if it sounds nice?
I would.
You want to call somebody
I
up?
would if somebody offered me something. I had something set up for the end of March, but the gym that I was training at discontinued their MMA program. Let's just put it that way. That's a nice and politically correct way of putting it. So I had to scrap that fight because I didn't have any place to train. But I'm kind of bouncing around right now. I'm out in Portland, have a new boyfriend, and hanging out, and I don't know, see how things go. I'm looking for a new gym. I'm looking for a new place to go. To be honest, I can move anywhere in
Arizona's
the
a
country I
hotbed
want.
for female
That's
talent.
right. The Big J Boski has a great opportunity. Like Dallas said, the state of Arizona would welcome you with open arms, and you have one of your biggest fans here in the state who's also okay, we'll call it Philadelphia, New Jersey, Trenton, same shit, different smell. So if you ever come down here, I know all the Philly hot spots. I know all the local hot spots that are for Philly folks like us. So, you're welcome down here anytime. And believe me, Mr. Hall and I will show you all the right gyms and all the right people and all the right connections.
There's some very, very talented female fighters around here that are coming up. They're towards the end of their amateur career. They're going to get to the beginning of their pro career. That would be, look, you could easily fill into a spot of a coach, teacher, confidant, somebody of that sort at almost any of these gyms. That's they need
I'm an
that
old
as far
dog.
as far as female
that's
goes.
me.
As far as female fighting goes.
You know what? You can claim you're an old dog, but there's an old saying about old dogs. You can always teach them a new trick. And believe me,
things like that.
Saying,
maybe it sounded good to me there, Dallas.
Anyway.
You can always teach
Something like that.
Yeah,
We'll
fuck
go
it.
with that.
But you know what? The thing is, though,
you guys are from Philly, so I don't know.
The thing is, though, you've had so much experience. Like I said, the background and the wealth of knowledge you bring to the sport that you've had in the sport, where women's MMA, which people don't understand, man, women's MMA, if you think it was hard for men's MMA before it hit the spotlight, where they'd have to travel 500-600 miles to get an amateur fight. Imagine what it was like to be a female. Just the things you could bring to the table to even the pro fighters like the Lauren Murphys of the sport who have been around the block.
Courtney Casey.
Courtney
Lauren
Casey
hates me. Lauren Murphy fucking hates me.
Well, let the big J Boski be.
Oh, well.
I'll be Jimmy Carter and I'll be Jimmy Carter in Yalta, and I'll fix that motherfucker real quick. Because the things you could teach these people in this state, though, and I'm not just talking to women. I'm talking to men too. It's infinite knowledge wise.
You just got one of the biggest things you have to either learn or realize early on in your career, if you want to have a long career, is you just got to fucking roll with it. You can't take shit personally, and you just got to roll with it, because you're going to have fights yanked from you, and it's a roller coaster, and it's very emotional, especially when you start training for a fight. And the promotion gets shut down, the opponent pulls out, the promoter does some shady fucking shit. You have to be able to you gotta love training. You can't do it for the fights. You can't do it for the spotlight or the glory or the money.
You sure as hell can't do it for the money.
You gotta love it because you love training and you love your gym and the people that are at your gym, and you gotta love being a part of the MMA community. Like, that's why I did it, and that's probably why I stuck around for as long as I did, because I just persevered. I'm terrified of fighting. I hate getting in the cage, to be perfectly honest. I like a mental breakdown every time. It's nuts. But I loved training, and I loved testing myself and pushing myself and seeing how many more rounds I could do, or how hard I could go. Like, if we were going on a really hard day or something, it was about pushing myself, and it was about, I loved gaining new skills. Like, I felt like some kind of like super ninja or some fucking shit.
Right. I like the some fucking shit part.
You were a real life ninja before everybody else was. You know what I mean? In the beginning of MMA, that's what I hear a lot of people say the same thing. A lot of men too, and men and females, men and women. They say, "Look, I was a real life ninja. Like, I was kicking people in the face. Like, where else can you do that outside of the movies, right? Like, you can't do that out in the street. You do that out in the street, you're gonna be in jail."
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you gotta do it because you love it, because you enjoy it. It's gotta be, and the sport is a very selfish thing. I mean, if this sounds terrible, but if you have to put your family first, or if you have to put a job first, or you have to put something else first, it's going to be very difficult. It's hard. It is, because you really, if you want to succeed and get to the UFC level or the top level, you really have to put the sport and your training first, and that means eating. That means taking care of yourself and resting. Resting doesn't mean just getting 8 hours of sleep a night. That means downtime during the day. Even if you're sitting around playing video games or something, you have to eat correctly. You have to sleep, and you have to train right. You can't kill yourself and expect longevity.
I was
you have
listening
to know when to chill the fuck out.
Right. Right on that point, I was listening to Jorge Masvidal talk to Joe Rogan the other day, and he said the same thing. The same thing for longevity in your career is to not spar so many times, and when your body tells you that it's tired, when you feel like those days when you go to the gym and you feel, oh, maybe I'm just a little flat. No, that's not what it is. It's your body telling you, we need to take a couple hours off.
For the day.
Yeah, we need to take some time off. Yeah. Let's chill, and let's just do maybe some repetitions. Let's do some technique repetitions, right? I mean, simple as...
Or just go for a run instead or something.
Right. Something
right? else.
But something besides full contact, go all out type of stuff. And I think that's where the difference between nowadays MMA one of the differences, I guess, between now and when you competed, when you were competing at the highest level. It really is. People are training much smarter now.
And what people don't, and for people that are more literal and don't understand what that means, it means that if you get tired and if you get depleted and you start to have a bad practice and you start getting hit by people that can't normally hit you, or you get tapped by people that can't normally tap you, and like you're run down, like you're tired, that's going to start to affect you mentally. And once you start to get affected mentally, that's going to break you down even further. And the mental aspect of MMA is the biggest part of it. So there ain't no shame in saying, I'm done for the day, or just taking that day off, even if it's your favorite day.
Right.
Whether it be, like, my favorite day was sparring. I loved sparring. I never missed sparring. But, like, sometimes, especially toward the end of the week, especially if I hadn't been keeping up with my water, if my sleep was shit on a Wednesday or whatever, by Friday, or even if it was Saturday morning sparring, I was for shit.
Right.
And so later on in my career, I would finally realize, all right, I can't do Saturday morning sparring. But you know what? Maybe I got a few teammates together on Sunday, and we came into the gym and we sparred then.
Look, when I used to manage fighters,
you have to be able to do stuff like that.
When I used to manage fighters, I used to tell them the same thing that you were just telling me, but I told them in a little bit different way. I said, if you're not delusional enough to think that you can beat anybody, any day, anywhere, anytime, any place, this ain't the sport for you.
No doubt.
You'll never be the best. Why? Because somebody's going to be delusional, right? And they're going to train as hard as you do.
That's really funny. That's really funny because I never had that. I trained harder than everybody else. I knew that, but because I was absolutely terrified because I thought everybody else was going to beat my ass. I never thought I'd ever be able to win against anybody. I have the most backward story, promise you.
Right.
But that fear of losing is what pushed me harder than everybody else. But I didn't know that I was going harder than everybody else until I sat around and was telling war stories from the gym, and I found out, like, damn, I was like really running circles around people, and I didn't even know it. Like, but yeah, like I never thought that I always went into a fight thinking I was going to get my ass beat. Right. But that fear of failure, that fear of getting my ass beat, that fear of looking bad in front of other people, that fear of dying, because it simulates a fight, right? It simulates a fight to the death. That fear of dying is what fucking drove me. That's what propelled me. That's what made me, like, just, like, if I couldn't sleep, this is early on in my 20s, like, if I couldn't sleep, I'd get out of bed, and I would go for a run. Not even kidding. Like, I'd go do crazy shit, like fucking step aerobics on a giant rock. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, I would do dumb shit. Like, but it was that fear of failure. That
after you say that right there, what we're gonna do after this edit's coming up, we're gonna play that Rocky quote right afterwards while it's going on. Oh, it's gonna be epic. It's gonna be epic. You're gonna have to tune in and watch it. Send it to everybody. I'm telling you, it's gonna be epic. And you're gonna say that fear. It's gonna be on the fear. I don't even know how to talk like Rocky. I'm not from fucking Philadelphia like you schmoes. Fear, whatever. But we're gonna play it.
Tara, we
appreciate your time.
we literally have under 30 seconds to go here. Those of you that obviously I've sung up the Amanda Buckner fight, but those of you that have yet to see you fight that are watching this video that have not watched any of your fights, you've had some big wins. Shayna Baszler, Roxanne Modafferi, Katarina Dam.
Oh, she beat
Takayo Hayashi. I mean, she beat
what's her name? The really tall, skinny chick that fought Cyborg too, right?
Alexis Davis. She beat her. She beat Alexis Davis. Julie Kedzie.
Julie Kedzie is what I'm thinking of.
You've had a who's who. If you had to pick one fight for the Big J Boski's choice to recommend to people, what fight should they watch of yours to get a crux of how great Tara Larosa really was, or shall I say is?
My favorite fight was the Amanda Buckner fight, just because it was so back and forth and it was so technical, and I knew who she was, and she and I, at that point in our careers, we were both could have been number one. That was, to me, at that point in women's MMA, that fight between her and I was for number one, like, because we had both kind of risen up. Remember, it wasn't on TV so much back then. We didn't have like a true rankings. Like there was rankings out, but whatever. It's not like UFC and everything now. But that was kind of like for who was number one, and somehow I pulled that one out.
Absolutely.
But it was a cool fight. It was pretty good. It was really good. I liked it anyway.
Absolutely.
I'm proud of it.
Well, the Big J Boski has nothing but love for you, Tara, and please come on anytime. You're always welcome. And, hey, the offer to come to Arizona stands. If you're ever here in town, come in studio and raise some hell with us, huh?
Sounds great. I'm down. Totally.
Much love for you, Tara.
Thank you.
Love for y'all, too. Thanks.
Thank you. The Big J Boski's choice, Tara Larosa.
It was your choice, wasn't it?
That was my choice. I love me some Tara LaRosa, man. It's not just because she's from Philadelphia, because she is an OG.
She is an OG. She paved the way. We're on short time.
All right, we're on zero time. We'll talk about this when we come back from the break. Plus some great fights.
Some Izzy shit, some style bender shit.
Let's do it, Izzy. How about the diamond?
Look,
we'll talk about that.
Some diamonds, some style bender.
We'll talk about that after the break here on MMA Fight Radio.
You want some more drinks?
The Rock says, The Rock.
Don't get stuck with expensive auto repairs. Get an extended warranty for your used vehicle today. Call 623-935-7988. That's 623-935-7988.
Call now.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, MMA Fight Radio here at True Story Studios. Studios 1A here in Tempe, Arizona resumes. I'm the Big J Boski. Joining me, as always, my tag team partner, my good friend, SDH Sean Dallas Hall, the pride of the Jersey Shore, Carlos Ortiz, and our special guest, a gentleman who we talked a little bit earlier to Iaquinta about a high-profile fight. This gentleman's going to be in a high-profile fight on that very same card, man. Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. Look out, because the superstars are taking over. Our next guest will be fighting a hometown, home country hero, Elias the Spartan Theodorou. I butchered that one.
Yeah, you did. That's okay.
He's fighting the Spartan. He's fighting the Spartan coming up at UFC Fight Night 150 May 4th. He is the fighting pride of the great state of North Carolina. Derek Brunson joins us here on the show. Derek, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing fantastic. Thanks for asking. Now, first questions first, man. You're fighting a Canadian hero in his home country. I mean, you've been to Phil in a few of your fights before, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, just another day in the office for me.
So that being said, obviously that 185-pound weight class. I mean, we've seen a little bit of a topsy-turviness last weekend. We just saw an interim title bout take place. This fight to you, what does that mean to keep your name right in the top of the rankings? What does a win over Elias do to keep you in the top of those rankings in that suddenly loaded weight class?
Yeah, just a fight to get the ball rolling. It's another ranked guy that's in front of me. For the past couple of years, I've been in the top 10, so I've been fighting nothing but ranked fighters. So this is just another guy that's ranked, and definitely get me back on the right path that I'm trying to get to.
I mean, speaking of fighting ranked fighters, you look down at your list, man. You fought a murderer's row. You're talking Izzy, Jacare, Lyoto, Anderson, Bobby Knuckles. I mean, you fought them all in your last 5 or 6 fights, right? You came out. You came out here or there with them. But when you look at the division right now, you see Izzy at interim champ. Okay. You see Bobby Knuckles at champion. You fought both of those guys. What's it going to take for you to improve enough or get enough wins or improve on what you did in those fights to be able to go out there and be that 185-pound champion?
I'm doing all the things I need to. I was training at home for the last 2 years. I have a gym back in Wilmington, North Carolina. We have a great thing going there, but I just don't have enough guys in the area right now because we're still growing mixed martial arts in the area. So I came out to Florida at Hard Knocks 365 with Henry Hoof and the rest of these guys. I hear Greg Jones and Cammy, a couple other coaches. These guys, the training is like super intense, so that's what I need to get to prepare for those, tough top 10 fights, opposed to, staying at home where it's comfortable. I have my family there, I have people, training in my comfort zone. So this helps me definitely get out of my comfort zone, and I'm gonna be winning those big fights.
When you talk about when I talk about Israel, you fought him. That was your last fight. Is there something that you took away from that fight? I mean, he looked good. He had spurts in his last fight, right? He looked really good, but then he looked hittable, right? And then he looked really good, and then he came out in the 5th round and then floored Calvin, right? Is there something that you can take away from the fight that you had with him that makes you confident that when you face him the next time that you're going to be able to beat him?
Oh, I can dominate all the guys in the division when it comes to wrestling, grappling, hands down, But it's just about improving the other things. And like I said, being battle-tested and pushed and not being in a comfortable situation. So when you go out there in these big fights, you're able to, get your heart rate up to still perform. That's been a few of the things. When I started coming out to here, you got guys, it's a lot of probably like 15 UFC guys in the gym. Probably like 10 guys from Bellator, probably about 5 guys from ONE FC. So it's a lot of guys in here. And I'm a guy that's I come in the training room and they're like, oh, this is Derek Brunson, he's top 10 in the UFC. He's been in the UFC for, 6 to 7 years. I want to see what I got against him. So I'm getting that push from everybody every day, So I know when I go out there in a fight, it's gonna be my skill set, and I've already been pushed, so should be winning those fights.
As far as wrestling goes, would you say you're the best in your division?
Yeah, I would say, I've never been taken down in a fight. 25 professional fights. I fought Yoel Romero, who was a 3-time. He was Olympian. I think he got a silver medal. Took him down 3 times to, he didn't take me down. And, I pretty much just, when it comes to grappling, I don't get takedown and I get takedown. So, yeah, my grappling is pretty strong. You just can't just show any one thing. You have to set it up, So that's what we've been working on.
All right, so Derek, going all the way back to your 4th professional fight, you've, as Dallas said, my co-host, you fought a who's who, and usually that, let's be honest, MMA fighters can be pretty selective at times. They'll want the fight that they feel like is the one that's going to advance them the most and going to be the dare I say the biggest gimme. You fought Jacare in your 5th fight. You fought Lyoto Machida. You fought Sam Alvey. You fought Anderson. From a fighter's perspective,
arguably beat Anderson
Silva, exactly. How have those fights helped elevate you, in your opinion, and given you that big fight atmosphere to where when you finally when you do get in there in big fights for titles and et cetera, how do you feel like these steps in that direction have prepared you for that?
Oh, yeah, I feel everything's helped. I've been in there with everybody. I felt their speed. I felt their power. I made a lot of mistakes. Even if you go with Robert Whitaker, I had him rocked. I had him hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like 10 seconds from knocking him out, like easily. He recovered, just a little bit too aggressive. If I just step back and pick my shots, Israel fight. If I just slow down, well, I'm on his legs. Those are easy takedowns to finish. If you get in wrestling, the hardest part is getting in. So the finishing is the easier part. So it's just a few things I take from the fight. It's like, okay, I know how I could have done that better, set it up better, cleaner entrances. Taking my time more with strikes. Just everything. It's just about being in the game long, and I know going forward that everything's going to pay off when I start putting it together.
All right, so putting all these into perspective for you, like you said, you had Whitaker on the ropes. Yeah, I remember the Yoel Romero fight very well. You were putting the hands to Romero before an unfortunate shot. The Anderson Silva, which you arguably won. What have you learned? And they say in MMA you learn as much from a loss as you do from 15 wins. What have those fights done to prepare you and help you grow for this fight coming up with Elias and going forward?
Oh yeah, we just focused on when I came to this camp, that was one of the things we focused on, all the weak points. We didn't focus on the high points or what we can do good or being fast and being out kicking everybody. We focused on some things like just being gritty, things like that. So it's gonna, like I said, it's gonna pay off, going forward.
Look, when I look at some of your losses, especially your later losses, the early, not later, but the losses that are most current. For me, I almost felt like you kind of fell in love with striking for a little while, right? and you almost forgot how amazing and how dominant you can be as far as the grappling side of the game goes. Is that something that you saw too, or is that maybe something that maybe I see just as a fan's perspective?
No, yeah, definitely falling in love with striking. I had like 5 KOs in a row, but it's also, even if you get KOs, it's like just slow your striking now. You don't have to go out there and knock somebody out in the first round, or you don't have to like go hunting for the knockout. You can set it up and then it'll come, So it's just a matter of, I can knock people out, I can touch them. Let's do it in a better way. Let's do it in a better fashion. Let's learn and grow from the previous mistakes.
Or even mix it up, right? I mean, the striking opens up once you finally show them that you can out-grapple them, right? I mean, the striking opens up unbelievably, and your striking is now super good. And I see this from a lot of guys throughout, even locally and regionally and nationally. They start off with a great grappling background, and then they start learning how to strike, and they start maybe knocking a few people out, and then look, wow. I mean, look, I don't need to focus on grappling anymore. Like, I can stand with anybody, right? But once you realize that the game is more than that, it's more than that. It's setting up your strikes by using your grappling. Then the whole world's your oyster, right?
Absolutely. 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 I agree.
So that being said, Derek, coming in, I mean, you come from a wrestling background and All-American at UMC Pembroke, the Fighting Braves. I mean, there's a perception about wrestlers that, let's call it as it is.
Look, and I'll tell you, a lot of guys have told me how good Derek Brunson is in the gym.
Oh, his wrestling
Derek Brunson is fantastic.
Back when he was at Jackson's, I used to hear stories
Fantastic.
about you actually taking guys like John Jones down. I mean, which is not an easy task. I mean, but there's that perception about wrestlers that they're looking to do one thing, and that's take you down, lay on you, tap you in the kidneys, and skirt your way to a win. Do you feel like there was a little bit of extra pressure in your career to prove that you're not just another 9-to-5 wrestler that's going to take somebody down and ride them for 3 rounds or 5 rounds?
That's funny that you say that. The new UFC is a lot, it's in better hands because previously, if you go down and take someone down and get a decision, you're going to be on the shelf for 6 months. Like you're injured or something. That's how guys used to play it. When I first got in the UFC, so you had to come out and you had to do something spectacular. Otherwise, they'd be like, "Oh, we'll call you when you get a fight for you." But it's not like that anymore. So it's kind of a good thing.
What are your thoughts on a two co-main event and a main event this past Saturday? Did you watch it, and what are your thoughts?
No, I didn't watch it. I just saw the replays and the tweets and stuff like that. But I didn't watch it. It was a good fight back and forth. Dustin Poirier and actually I did watch that fight. I didn't watch any other fight. I tuned in for the last fight. So yeah, that was a good fight. Dustin was hitting with some hard shots. He looked good in that fight, And it's funny because I'm not really a big fan of guys like Demetrius Johnson going up for a super fight or Max Holloway going up for a super fight. What does that do? What does it prove? It proves nothing. We have weight classes for a certain reason. Why not keep clearing that weight class out? I don't know. It is what it is, but I just kind of like seeing guys dominate, rather than going up and getting beat, and now the whole hype is gone, and then they took a lot of punches maybe in the next fight to get knocked out. So,
look, as somebody, I'm actually a sitting judge, right? I judge fights, and I always like to ask high level fighters this question: when you looked at that Max fight and the Dustin fight, right? Did you have a clear winner at the end of that fight?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I had. I had Poirier winning.
You had Poirier winning. Okay, so if you look at the stats, if you look at the stat numbers, right, it says Max Holloway landed more significant strikes, landed more strikes in general, right? But that doesn't always tell the story. Am I correct?
Generally, but not really. It depends if it's a round where a person really poured it on a person, but that's only one round you win it. Let's say you fought someone and you hit someone 100 times and they hit you 10 times, and the strikes show you're I don't know, in 150 to 80, but you got 100 strikes in one round and you just won that round.
Right.
So it's
what I used for example was say the Poirier knee, right? The Poirier came up with the knee, split Max's melon just wide open, his whole forehead, right? That's one significant strike on the numbers. But how much is that really worth when you're looking at 5 minutes of work, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's worth way more than 10 or 15 of Max's strikes that he landed.
Yep.
So it's hard. So for me as a judge, I always want to know somebody else's opinion on this because it's hard for me because when I see that, that's the way I think. I think, wow, man, he just split him open. That's an extremely effective strike. That's way more than that. Almost wins you the round, right?
I think you have to lean more towards like finishing the fight, opposed to like, let's say, I don't know. I mean, like, it depends. It depends. If you say like one knee that splits you, I think that outweighs like, I don't know, maybe like 10 significant punches or something. I don't know, but
sure.
I would think if somebody was just piecing you up the whole time, you just need them, wobble them a little bit.
Sure.
I would think that you probably still won the round.
Sure. And I agree with you too. I mean, when you're sitting in that spot, I mean, I know we get a lot of heat. So, and we've gotten a lot of heat, and people are giving us a lot of heat over this Dustin Poirier Max fight for some reason, and I don't know why. Us judges, because I felt like that was pretty significant. I mean, I thought that 3 rounds at least. I mean, even one of those rounds could have been a 10-8. I mean.
So the numbers were heavy, and I mean the striking totals were for Max.
Yeah, striking totals ended up for Max, but but Dustin was landing the more effective, more fight-ending type of strikes.
Oh yeah, he was like rocking them. Right. Yeah, he was dazing them a lot. He's hitting them hard.
Yeah, so I always wonder, a guy like you who's been in the game for long enough, how do you think about that? When you're in a fight, what are you thinking about? Are you thinking about I have to land a hard strike, or are you thinking about I'm trying to finish this guy? What are you thinking about?
That's a good question. I think MMA eventually needs to go to like a point scoring system, like significant shots weigh in and tally it up at the end, because you can't really leave it to the like public opinion, or let's really get some like points behind stuff. It's like wrestling. You can't just go wrestle and somebody get pinned and you like raise somebody's hand. You got to know who's winning. I think even round by round scoring would be kind of cool.
Yeah, well, they do score round by round. I mean, that's what we do. We score round by round. I mean, when we look at a fight, right? You look at the say the title fight between them. That's, as a judge, I'm scoring 5 separate fights inside one fight, right? Because each round doesn't carry over to the next. You're scoring the first round. This is how I score it. Now the second round is a blank slate. This is how I score it. The third round, this is how I score it, all based on criteria. So now if you're saying you want to put point system in there, now you're putting another onus on the referee. So the referee not only has to keep you safe, but the referee also has to start tallying points, it's telling somebody when. Yeah. But
no, not the ref, the judges. The judges tally points.
So
like if you say strikes, you say how many strikes, you tally up the strikes, or like however you see it, and then let's say takedowns or points, whatever, and then at the end of the round, end of the fight, you tally up each round how many points per se, I guess.
All right, so I'm the commentator, Dallas is the judge, you're the fighter. I want to get everybody's perspective on this because I'm going to play devil's advocate here, okay? Mm-hmm. We're going to judge based off the quality of the strikes, like in baseball they have quality starts. How about the quality of the strikes? Mm-hmm. Fighter A, let me use an example, and I'm going to throw your former opponent out there, Derek. I'm going to throw your former opponent, Lyoto Machida, who made a career off of volume striking. Not that he
non-volume striking.
Not that he couldn't finish you, but I mean, Machida would be hit and move,
like a Frankie Edgar type.
Right. Somebody hits you. Frankie Edgar is a great example. Somebody hits you 150 times, but you hit them 20 or 30, and you drop them on their ass 4 or 5 times. Where is the fine line between let's score against the points-based fighter, the Floyd Mayweather, so to speak, versus let's vote in favor of the guy who's got the face busted up because of the strikes? Go ahead.
I can answer that question for you.
Go ahead.
We have a determined set of criteria that we follow for a 5-minute or 3-minute, depending on amateur or pro. So there's a certain criteria that we follow, and the most important thing is between striking and grappling is how effective, or what's the impact. Okay, what's the impact, right? So you take the impact of that strike, or that, say in your case, right, Derek, you take somebody down, right? You want points for that. Am I correct? You worked hard for that. You might have had to put him up against the cage. You might have had to run the pipe. You might have had to work underhooks. You might have had to shoot double, back to single, and you take him down. You want points for that. Am I correct?
Yeah, right.
Okay, so but where does that score as opposed to all that? Say you spent a minute and a half working on that takedown, you get a takedown, he gets up and hits you with an elbow, and it slices your whole right side of your face open. You know what I mean? Like where does that weigh? I mean, that's the tough part.
But let's say I look at I guess here's the better way to look at it is if you're getting, let's say somebody whooping your ass round for the first minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. 4 minutes, and you come in the fifth round. I mean, the 5th minute of the fight, or the 4th minute, whatever, 4 minutes and like 5 seconds, and you just like putting it on them, whatever. I think those first 4 minutes should definitely trump just anything that they can just turn on. I mean,
I agree.
like you got your ass kicked for like 4 minutes.
I agree, unless they're close to finishing you, right?
And you're
unless they're close to finishing you.
Yeah. Unless they're close to finishing,
right?
Yeah.
Like if they knock you down and then they get advanced position, let's say, back control, or maybe side control or something, and they look to put a submission in, or they're hitting you, and then the bell rings, right? That's a whole different story.
Yeah.
Well, and let's be honest here. I mean, and I'm not saying this because Anderson Silva's one of the legends of the sport, one of my all-time favorite fighters, but that's the prime example fight I'm thinking of is, look, anybody that watches your fight, Derek, with Anderson, you landed the takedowns, your strikes were more impactful, yet Anderson seemed like he landed more strikes, which is what ultimately, at the end of the day, for lack of a better term, fucked you over, not to play sour grapes here, but, I mean, it's the truth.
You know what? No, but at the end of the fight, the strikes wasn't even in his favor.
It wasn't.
It was like 120 to like 30. I had like 120 strikes. He had like 30.
Right. So he did land a couple hard shots, right? But you're saying the same thing. You're saying the same thing that we're saying. The same thing that you were saying.
We're all on
earlier,
the same page. Yeah.
That the one strike the 2 strikes, maybe 5 strikes that he might have landed throughout that 5-minute period should not outweigh the 4.5 minutes that you did work.
Not to mention the 7 or 8 takedowns he landed in a fucking round and a half. I mean.
Yeah.
But you were going to argue though about Anderson's strikes. You disagreed with that a little bit. That the strikes were not as impactful as they looked on camera from the watchman's eye.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't even remember Anderson hitting me the whole fight. Like, he didn't really land anything significant. Like, when you said he landed good shots, he didn't land any good shots. Like, the best thing he might have landed was like a body kick while I back, so like his toe caught me, or he threw like a kick that I blocked. Like, he didn't really land anything significant the whole fight, So that's what it was like, really like mind-boggling, how the judges would see that he won the fight.
I remember 100%.
He does a good job.
30-27. I had it 30-27 for you. I mean, when I was scoring that fight, when I was watching it live, I remember it as clear as day. I had it 30-27 for you. But you're fighting in the wrong place with the wrong people, and there's a lot of things that go into being a judge. You got to hear the crowd, and you know what the worst part is too. Sometimes as a judge, they sit you right next to the cornerman. Have you ever seen this? Have you ever been there? Have you ever cornered somebody?
Yeah.
So, as a cornerman, you're cornering your fighter, and as a judge, I'm sitting in the seat directly next to you. Okay? So the only thing I can hear the whole time is what you're saying that your guy did right. That's it, right? And so for me, it took a long time to be able to block that out, be able to be like, okay, you know what? Greg Jackson's sitting next to me. I'm not going to listen to him. Fuck Greg Jackson. I'm not listening to him. Fuck him. He's going to say, hey, yeah, got him. Even when they didn't get him.
But
right?
it's funny because we have 3 different perspectives in here. You are the judge. You look at it from the judge. I'm the commentator. Mm-hmm. And if you listen to Joe Rogan and John Anik call that fight, you'd think Anderson, every punch he was landing was
their job.
And that's my, as a job, as a commentator, I can get that. You've got to make every strike, Derek, look like it's the greatest thing. But from the man who is in there, we're sitting there, and we have 3. That's what makes it so tough to judge. Right. We have 3 different perspectives. Me as a commentator, I'm seeing Anderson, and I'm the first voice of contact that people hear is Anderson. Oh my God, he's putting the boots to him. Not literally, just hypothetically speaking. Dallas is a judge, and he's sitting there saying, well, you know what, this is a different angle. He's landing volume, he's landing more power shots. You and the one that's in there that's taking his shit for front and center. I'm not feeling a goddamn thing.
Tough.
It's a tough business.
It is a tough business.
Yeah. Got you.
So, I mean, this whole thing, we're going to round it up. As a fighter, if you could say what you feel like are the most, let's say, impactful, what you should score the most in a fight, what would it be?
What would it be? Control, I guess. Who's in control of that fight? Like, even if you throw punches, miss, hold somebody in the cage, stumping their toes, kneeing them in their leg, punch them in the head. Their back is against the cage. They're not doing anything. You're holding them there for like 3 minutes, and you break. You say 3 minutes and like 5 seconds, whatever. You take them down. You get ground and pound. Now going to the 4th minute. Now they want to like get real active. They're getting their ass kicked. They're getting control. So I would say control. Who's ever in control of the fight, I think you can. That's why, positions. If you holding somebody against the cage, they can't move, they can't get off. Or if you're in the guard punching on somebody, or if you got their back, or you got side control.
Right.
Like,
Advanced positions should be scored much higher. I agree. I think advanced positions are very critical to a fight. I agree with you on that 100%. But, the way you just explained it, as far as criteria for a judge goes, that's our third criteria. That is our third criteria, control. That's our third criteria.
I think that should
so
change.
What's the
first criteria is effective grappling and effective striking. Okay? And then the second criteria is who is, I guess it would be consider what you're calling control, but who is doing the most work.
Okay,
so.
hold up a second. I don't mean to cut you off here, bro. I don't mean to, but from a judge. Derek has a guy pinned against the cage and is hammering the shit out of him. Yep. Is that not considered effective? Because to me, when fighter one's standing there getting a piss pounded out of him against the cage, that fans call boring and boo.
I think this is something that is very important, and I'm talking to you about it, Derek, and I think this is something that you need to look up. So every state or country or wherever that you go and fight at, you need to look at the rules of what it is for mixed martial arts scoring for judges. Okay, because here in Arizona, let's say for example, we have to almost choose between effective grappling and effective striking, and if you can't make a decision from there, like it's the closest round ever, right? I mean, you have to be able to do that. So when you're talking about somebody up against the cage, right? Say I'm sitting on the right side and I can only see the one side of him. I can't see the knees he's landing on the right side. I can't see the elbows he's landing on the right side. I can't see the fists the punches he's landing on the right side, right? So what you need to do, what I tell every fighter needs to do, is learn the rules of scoring. Because if you learn the rules of scoring, you could change the whole outlook of the way judges look at your fights.
Gotcha.
That's
you know what I mean?
That's tough though. That's a tough protocol because when you're in there, I'm watching it from a different angle than you're watching it from, and obviously Derek is watching it from a different angle than both of us are because he's in there and he knows I'm not just pinning this guy against the cage and whispering into his ears. I'm hammering his fucking ribs. I'm
But I might not see that. That's the whole issue.
So where do we
I might not see it. The other judge might see it.
So where do we fix that problem then? How do we fix that problem, Derek? I mean, how do we fix that problem? That I see things different from the commentary sees things different from you and the judges.
Like I said, maybe a scoring system. Takedowns count, advanced positions count, strikes count. Total it up.
Run it like
wrestling.
What you got? Run it like wrestling.
Yeah.
Or do you think? See, I personally, as a judge, favor the pride system. Yeah. Okay, I favor the fact that I'm going to watch all 3 rounds. All right, and at the end of the fight, I'm going to score who had the most effective fight. Right? I'm not going to talk about points. You might have took somebody down, right, and it didn't mean anything, right? They might have got right back up. But at the end of the fight, you can always tell. I feel like I can always tell who had the worst night, right? And the one who had the worst night, usually most of the time, is the one who probably lost.
I'll throw an example to you that's not necessarily the case. Sean Shirk, Kenny Florian. Sean Shirk walked out of that face look. His face looked like fucking Frankenstein.
But he was on top of him the whole time.
But Shirk was on top beating the shit out of him for 5 rounds.
But I would have scored that for Kenny Florian.
How?
Because of damage. Just impact and damage alone.
But then if we go under that logic, though, Derek actually lost to fucking Anderson because, Derek was taking him down and beating the shit out of him.
Anderson didn't land any damage. Anderson didn't do any damage. When you looked at Derek's face afterwards, he had no damage.
And I don't disagree. I think you won that fight, Derek. I'm just playing devil's advocate here on that. But, to me, that's the tough thing about it, though.
Is put you on the spot with this one.
Derek, for so long, though, let's be honest, as much as the fans shit all over it, as much as the fans crap on it and talk shit online and run their... this is a sport that has benefited the wrestlers for a long time. I mean, a wrestler can take somebody down. How many careers have been made because they took people down and grinded the shit out of them, even though, they're on top of them. John Fitch, Jake Shields to a degree. I mean, George St. Pierre in his title run. I mean, this is a sport that has been really... Matt Hughes. This is a sport that's been built around the high-level wrestlers that can take you down, and even if it doesn't look like they're doing damage to the judge's eye, they're really, controlling the pace of the fight.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, any thoughts? We put you on. We stumped you. We talking.
Poor guy thought he was going to talk about Elias.
You thought we were going to talk about your fight.
We're talking about Elias, and we're giving a rundown about the shitty judge.
We got a little deep on it though, but that's okay. I mean, this is stuff that should be talked about. I mean, coming from a high level fighter, I think people would care about your opinion on these situations.
You're a guy who has very, very good wrestling. I mean, listen, not many people can say they hold a takedown, not just one takedown. You had 6 or 7 takedowns on Yoel Romero in that fight, a guy who's been taken down, I think, 15 times his entire damn UFC career. I mean, you took him down almost at free will, So, I mean, from a wrestler's perspective, I think where we're going at is we're talking about the rules and the regulations and the way judges score things. I'm interested in your perspective, as is Dallas, that, how do we cross that fine line and take it from a sport that really benefits the wrestlers to not so much,
Yeah. Yeah, no. I dig it. All
right. Well, hey, I'll tell you what. Best of luck to you. I know we got you into a deep rabbit hole there for a minute. we got you in a deep rabbit hole, but hey, man, best of luck.
Did y'all notice how I like ease my way out of the conversation?
Yeah, I know.
I actually enjoyed it. And I'm sure it's probably part of course from your usual how you're going to beat Elias and how quick you're going to do it.
We don't like to do it that way.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
We like to talk about things that actually have a pertinence to the sport, not how you're going to beat him. What are you going to do? Fucking 360 spin, kick him in the face? Cool, bro. Have a good night.
All right,
you know what I mean? Like, that's not what we're trying to do over here.
Let me throw a safe question in for you. Not with what's going on in that middleweight division, do you feel like you have to finish Elias in order to get your recognition as that top guy at 185 pounds? Because let's be honest, it's wide open. It's ripe for the picking for title shots. We know Whitaker and the Spellbender are gonna they're gonna do their damn thing. But what do you feel like you have to do in this fight to get in that picture?
Just be myself. That's it. I'm not worried about any other stuff. I'm just worried about showing my full capabilities. I don't think in this fighting game yet I've shown my full capabilities. So that's the only thing I'm focused on. These next couple of fights, show my full capabilities, my full game, how much I've grown, and get back in that mix, get back in the title hunt.
For sure, man. We hope you do. We hope you have a great night.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate your time.
I just got to say, man, he's the hottest thing to hit Wilmington, North Carolina since Dawson's fucking Creek. Derek, best of luck to you, brother.
North Carolina,
all right,
come on and raise up. Take your shirt off. Put it around your head, swinging like a helicopter.
I wish Katie Holmes would have taken her shirt off on that show.
Yeah. All right, appreciate you, brother.
All right.
Thanks,
Derek Brunson, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we got literally, what do we got, Michael? Like a minute left?
Just a minute or so left.
All right, wrap it up.
It's fantastic, man.
I'm pretty sure you're at negative time at this point.
I thought we had a fantastic show. I thought we had fantastic interviews.
I think we did.
I thought we got into some things that that we should. We should as podcasters, not as radio guys. We should get into.
Even as radio guys, let's be honest.
Look,
you're going to view fights. You're going to view fights differently as I'm going to view fights. You're a judge. I'm a commentator. We're going to look at things differently.
I like to try to bridge that gap. That's why I brought it up to him.
Yeah,
I wanted to bridge that gap. I know he's been on the rough side of a couple of
He's been on the broad side of a raw job. I mean, against Anderson.
He's been on the rough side.
So, like I said,
that could have changed his whole career. That could have changed the whole trajectory of his career.
Say what you will about Anderson at this point. You beat Anderson Silva. That's going to carry a lot of fucking weight.
That's before he lost.
Before we go, you want to mention that one thing that happened?
Yeah, we got a couple things to mention real quick. First and foremost, our sincerest thoughts are going out to show regular Angela Magana, who is in the middle of one hell of a battle. I have no doubt in my mind if anybody's going to beat this, it is Angela Magana. She's already making progress, folks. She's awake. Those of you that didn't hear, she's got her eyes open. She was in a coma yesterday due to a medical.
And that's huge, right? The ability to move your fingers and your toes. That's a huge thing. Take it from somebody who knows.
Oh yeah, we've both. I've been there, done
somebody
that.
who knows. When you wake up, if you're able to at least be able to move those, things are working right through the spinal cord.
That's right.
Things are working right through that whole nervous system. So that's a huge thing.
100%.
Good for her. And I wish her the speediest and utmost and best recovery.
Amen to that. And Dallas, I mean, you and I have both knocked on death's doorstep. I mean, quite a few times.
Been there
So
a
we
couple
know what
times.
we know what it's
Me
like.
too.
So everybody in the studio has knocked on death's doorstep, and it takes a special, tough kind of human being. It takes a tough ass hombre to get through it. And Angela is in the steps in the right direction, man. Real quick, because I know we really didn't get time to talk about it, but man, what a great set of fights last weekend. 2 of the best fights you won't just see in 2019, but in general.
Yeah,
Amazing fights.
All I can really say is watch them. I mean, just watch them because they were fantastic. Izzy Gastelum was fantastic. It was back and forth.
Literally
the
up to
whole
the final
way
20
through,
seconds.
The whole way through, it was back and forth. The Poirier Max was as advertised. They were both slapping each other all the way around. It was fantastic. A fantastic night of fights. Usually they promote these fights like they're going to be the greatest things ever, and I will tell you right now, I'll be the first to tell you they weren't. These ones were.
Oh,
These ones were.
Yep.
These ones were. And also check out Khalil Roundtree.
Oh, yeah, him.
Khalil Roundtree looked fantastic. I mean, unbelievable.
Now, mind you, Eric Anders is a guy who can take a
Oh,
beat.
fantastic. I mean, Khalil Roundtree just completely changed his whole game. Unbelievable.
He did. And,
Unbelievable. Looked like a world beater.
Anders with the best quote of the weekend said, I haven't had my ass whooped that hard since I was a 10-year-old kid.
Right?
I mean,
He was flabbergasted the whole time. He didn't even understand what was going on.
And a big win for Dustin Poirier, man. I can't emphasize this enough. This guy went from literally, I mean, look.
22 fights.
22 fights.
In the UFC before he got that title.
Now he's got the big money fight coming up against Khabib, man. You can't
Hopefully.
hopefully, knock on wood. But, you know, no matter what, he can always, whether it's interim or not, you can always say he always will be a champion. Let me tell you, I know we have our opinions on Dustin.
Oh, I like him. He just gave me a rough time.
Yeah, it was a tough
My
interview.
first interview ever.
My
first interview ever. He gave me a real rough time.
But, you know, God bless.
that's okay.
More power to
Made
him. A
me
big
better.
win for him. More power to him. That's how you grew. But, you know, and last but certainly not least, a big fight coming up this weekend. The Boa Constrictor takes on the Demolition, man. It sounds like a great pro wrestling match. But you got Alexei Olnik taking on Alistair Overeem. Hell of a fight that's going to be.
I hope that fight don't go to the ground over him.
Oh, Overeem will get strangled because Olnik fought out
actually
here.
got a good ground game.
Oh,
Don't
he
make
does.
any difference.
No, Olnik can strangle you from any direction.
difference, dude. You look at that guy's record. It doesn't make any difference.
Olnik is the only individual
You
I
go to
believe.
the ground, you're done.
He has not one but 2 Ezekiel choke finishes in the UFC, which we've never
In
seen
the
before.
UFC.
And one of them Ezekiel chokes was right out here in Phoenix.
In the UFC, in the highest level. So,
Yeah.
anyways, I'm sorry. You don't get me going off on tangents. It's late.
Please, no, I love your tangents.
It's late. Go ahead.
It's late,
Wrap
but
it
hey,
up.
Michael's ready to kick us the hell
Wrap
out of
it
here,
up.
so we're going to call it a night. Ladies and gentlemen, we certainly hope you have enjoyed every second of this broadcast as much as Dallas, Carlos, and I have. We will be back 2 Thursdays from now to continue our madness and insanity.
When we come back, we will have a huge treat for you. We will have the executive director of Arizona Boxing Commission. I don't know if there's ever been a show that has ever had an executive director of an athletic commission in studio.
Yep.
We will have that for you. So make sure you tune in next week.
I'm going to kiss your ass twice on one show. It's never happened in 3 years. You're getting it twice in a show. That was a hell of a haul, man. That was a fantastic. Definitely going to be good things to come. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do as a result.
Casey Kenny too next.
Casey's coming?
Casey in 2 weeks.
That's awesome. So we got a future champion. We got the director, man. We got everything going on. So since we're so excited, I've got some shit to give away here. Next show, pay attention to this. I've got an autographed poster from the movie. You remember our guest Byron that was in here a few weeks ago with the movie Rotten Tail in a theater near you. I've got a poster that is autographed by several members of the cast member and the director that I'm going to give away on next week, on 2 weeks show from now, 2 weeks from now show. So I'm going to give that away in a sticker. So you want to tune in, free swag, 2 great guests, probably one of the most information-based shows on MMA. We're not going to talk about your typical bullshit, folks. We're not going to sit there and say, he's going to win this way, he's going to win. We're going to ask the hard-hitting questions that you guys deserve to hear. So stay tuned for that. Hope you enjoyed it. And feel free to get us your FMKs, man. We'll try to answer a few of them on air in next week's show.
Appreciate you, Jay.
Appreciate you, Dallas.
Appreciate
Great
you,
show,
Mike.
brother.
Appreciate you, Carlos.
For Dallas Hall, for Carlos Ortiz, and for Michael Motorcycle, the man, the myth, the legend. Hey, congratulations on your marriage and your honeymoon. Welcome back, man. We've missed you. We'll see you in 2 Thursdays from now here on MMA Fight Radio.
auto repairs, get an extended warranty for your used vehicle today. Call 623-935-7988. That's 623-935-7988.
Call now